everybody, welcome to Just Upright. My name is Doc Jane Ruder. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I'm a certified dementia practitioner. Thank you for all the viewers and for the subscribers. We really appreciate you a lot. Thank you for watching the videos and sharing the videos, guys. So if you are new to my channel, I make videos on how to apply as physical therapist to the US. I also make videos on about health and wellness, and as well as videos on physical therapy documentation and how to be an on-call physical therapist. Okay, so check the playlist out. Also, please check out my courses and my coaching program at justuprighttherapy.com. As of the making of this video, I have courses there. First one, how to apply as a physical therapist here to the US, a step-by-step guide so that you won't waste your time and your money and resources because you don't know what to do first, what to do next, and things are expiring. You need to reapply and you need to pay another money or fee because you're not guided well. So that is what that course is all about. And then the second one is how to make an effective and comprehensive physical therapy evaluation. So practical tips on physical therapy evaluation documentation course. And also my books are available at amazon.com. All the links are down below. So thank you so much, guys. So today we're going to talk about how much does the US physical therapy license cost? Not in a literal way, but in a cumulative way, okay? Specifically for foreign trained physical therapists, okay? So if you graduate here in the US, okay, so you have to apply to the state of your choice, and then you have to take the NPTE, okay? So you have 2 to 3 fees that you need to pay and you're done. But it's more complicated if you are a foreign trained physical therapist because there are tons of steps involved before you can actually take the examination. And that is part of the course that I'm teaching at justuprighttherapy.com, the step-by-step procedure. And at the end of my book, The PT Path to US, I actually have a table there of the summary of the steps and the fees per step. We're going to have a rundown of those fees in general. Okay, so mind you guys, I always tell my viewers to go straight to the website of concern, of interest, for you to be updated with the latest fee. As of the making of this video, these are the current fees right now. So there might be changes between the making of this video and you watching the video. So always check the website of interest for latest fee update or latest changes with the requirements, okay? So I would like to also remind you that this computation is based on one straight shot. So meaning you were able to do everything once. You did not fail the NPTE. No documentation expired that needed reapplication. Okay, so this is one straight shot. There will be additional fee, of course, if you're still in your country and you haven't been petitioned by the employer and your visa screen or the healthcare worker certificate expired after 5 years and you're still stuck in your country, just like what happened to me. I have to reapply for the visa screen certificate. Back then, it's another $200-300, okay? So let's dive into it. The cost of US physical therapist license, okay, for foreign trained physical therapists. Okay, so we're going to use the example of the New York State, okay? So New York is, if you haven't seen my video about New York, I made a video on how to apply to New York State as physical therapist, so watch that video first. So New York is one of the easiest states to apply as physical therapist here in the US, okay? So you have to pay the fee for New York State Board of Physical Therapy, okay, to apply there in the New York State. So currently the fee for New York is $294, okay, for physical therapists, and $103 for physical therapy assistant, okay? Now, after you applied to New York, or simultaneously you have New York application, you also have to do the credentialing. Okay, the credentialing process is FCCPT and CGFNS are agencies that do the credentialing, and it simply means they're going to assess whether your background as a physical therapist, your training, your curriculum, your syllabi, everything, educational training is at the same level as the required standard here in the US. Okay, so for FCCPT, you have to remember, if you're applying to New York, it has its own FCCPT. Okay, so you have to go down here to New York credential verification. Okay, this type 1 comprehensive review is for other states. New York has its own credential verification, so it's $515 right now. Okay, so if you want a cheaper one and it is still acceptable by New York State, you can use the CGFNS. The CGFNS is $385. Okay, so it's $130 difference. The only thing that stops other people from getting CGFNS, that although it's cheaper, is that if they want to transfer to another state and that state only requires FCCPT or only approves FCCPT agency for credentialing, then you have to reapply to FCCPT to transfer to that state. FCCPT has a broader coverage with regards to the states that accepts that credentialing agency compared to CGFNS. Okay, so that's the disadvantage of CGFNS. Okay, now so you paid the state, hey, I'm going to apply to your state as physical therapist. You pay them, you have to do your credentialing for them to see whether you're really a graduate of physical therapy program, and if the standard of your education is the same level as the standard here required here in the US. So that's the credentialing process. And then we have the visa screen certificate, also known as the healthcare worker certificate. So the visa screen certificate or healthcare worker certificate is not required by the state. It is required by the immigration, the US immigration. Okay, so it is required for you to be granted a working visa or an immigrant visa. So it's for immigration purposes only. Okay, so if you are still in your country, you don't have any working visa, you don't have any immigrant visa, regardless of what year you graduated, if you're starting from zero, you need a healthcare worker certificate. Okay, so since New York only have like the credentialing under FCCPT, what I did is I got my healthcare worker certificate from CGFNS. So again, this is required by the immigration, the US immigration, not by the state. Okay, next. Okay, so part of the requirement of the healthcare worker certificate is for you to pass the test of English as a foreign language, okay, the TOEFL. So the healthcare worker certificate is actually required because there had been incidents in the US that the foreign trained healthcare worker cannot be understood by the patients. There are miscommunications because the foreign trained cannot express his or herself, cannot give clear instructions, or cannot understand what the patient is saying. So the healthcare worker certificate is basically assuring the public that this therapist or this healthcare worker can speak, can write, can listen, can talk in English effectively. Okay, so that's why we need to pass the TOEFL. So TOEFL, or Test of English as Foreign Language, as of now in the Philippines, it's $225. Okay, so Next is the tourist visa. So you cannot take your NPTE in your own country. So the National Physical Therapy Examination can only be taken in the U.S. mainland or in the U.S. territories, okay? So that means you have to apply for a B1 or B2 tourist visa, okay? So you have to apply in the to the U.S. Embassy that you want to be interviewed for a tourist visa. Currently, it is $160, okay? Now, after you submitted all the requirements to the state, after the credentialing process is done by FCCPT or CGFNS, and they forward it to New York, and you paid New York, and everything is good, all the requirements are in, New York State will give you eligibility to letter. It means that you are good to go to take the examination. So you have to pay the FSBPT, you know, on their website. Hey, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to take the exam. So FSBPT, you have to pay. So right now, it's $485, okay, to take the examination. So you have to register on FSBPT website. The FSBPT must have the eligibility letter from your state, and there's a deadline on a specific test schedule when they should get that eligibility letter, so they can get it by the time you are applying for NPTE or on or before the deadline that they set. If they don't have the eligibility letter from your state, you cannot take the NPTE, okay? So before the deadline, they should receive that eligibility letter for you to take the examination. So that's $485. But there's also a prometric fee, or the testing site fee. So the $485 is for the NPTE. The $100.30, this is for the prometric, for you to use their computer, their building, their technology to take the NPTE. So it's a separate fee, okay? So that's $100.30. Now, since, like I said before, you cannot take your exam in your own country, you have to fly to, you know, U.S. territory or to the U.S. mainland. Of course, you have to have a flight ticket, and if you don't know anybody in that area, you have to have hotel accommodation. So I Googled right now how much is the flight from the Philippines to Guam. That's the nearest U.S. territory to the Philippines. It's around, from Manila, it's $1,100, $1,132, and that's where I took my examination. And then you have to, of course, account for the hotel accommodation. If you're going to stay like 2 nights, you know, so that you don't have a jet lag by the time you take the exam, so you stay there for 2 nights. So you have to take that into an account, okay? How much is the airfare, how much is the hotel accommodation, and of course your pocket money for you to have, you know, budget for drink and food, of course, okay? So if we're going to list the costs, the breakdown of the costs for New York State, so just like I said, New York PT application to NYSED is $294, the FCCPT is $515, the CGFNS visa screen is $615, TOEFL is $225, the U.S. Embassy interview is $160, the NPTE is $485, the prometric fee is $100.30, the plane ticket with hotel accommodation, rough around modestly $1,500. So you are at like $3,894, so close to $4,000, okay? So that is for New York State, okay? So if we take into account the other states, okay, so let's just say it's $300 for other state. It can be lesser, okay? The type 1, so you go for, instead of New York verification credentialing, you go for type 1 FCCPT. Of course, you have to check with the state what
credentialing agencies they prefer you to have. Okay, so each state has a preference for credentialing agency. Okay, so if you don't have any working visa or any immigrant visa yet, most of the states prefer the type 1. It's comprehensive. It's a package deal. It means it's both credentialing and healthcare worker certificate all in one. Okay, so type 1 FCCPT is right now is $1,340. The TOEFL is $225. The U.S. Embassy interview is $160. NPTE again is $485. Prometric is $100.3. Now, some states have jurisprudence examination. Okay, so that is like PT practice law exam. Okay, so this jurisprudence exam is right around $65 right now. Okay, so let's pretend you have jurisprudence exam. The plane ticket and hotel, $4,175.30. Okay, so this is the rough estimate of how much is the US PT license as of 2022. Okay, mind you guys, in that cost, it is not included the review to take the NPTE. So in the Philippines, before we have like in-person class, that you enroll in that class roughly for 3 months to prepare for the board examination. So there's a specific fee for that, and then if you need to have a dormitory because your house is too far away from the center, the review center, so you have to pay for the dormitory and for your food and accommodation for those 3 months. So it really accumulates a lot. Okay, and just like I said, that fee or the total amount does not account for failing the NPTE or any of your document expired and you're still in your country, you haven't been petitioned, you have to reactivate, so you have to have additional fee. So it is really very expensive, okay, for foreign trained therapists to get a US physical therapist license. Okay, so some may argue that, hey, that's nothing compared to the student loan that I have here in the US just to get my degree as physical therapist. That is so true, but you also have to consider it is culturally very different. In the Philippines, for example, after you graduated, you have to get a job, not just to support yourself, but also to support your parents, to support your siblings, and some will support their siblings to be sent to school. They will pay for their tuition fee and daily allowance. So you become the breadwinner, not just your family, but your extended family as well for some. Okay, so this is on top of the burden that you're carrying for your family. Then you have to spend money to apply to the US, so additional amount. So, and physical therapy work in other countries don't pay as much, nearly as much as we make here in the US. So financially, it is a struggle. So there is a lot of pressure for foreign trained physical therapists to pass the NPTE. Okay, many people do not actually realize that, because taking the NPTE, again, you need to apply for a tourist visa, you need to pay for a plane ticket, you need to pay for the hotel, you need to pay for the NPTE itself, for the prometric, everything. So if you fail that, you're losing thousands of dollars failing the examination. Okay, and then you have to start all over again just to try again to pass the NPTE. So the pressure for a foreign trained therapist is a lot higher compared to the graduate here in the US. So guys, I hope that was helpful for you. That is not to scare you, but at least to prepare you psychologically, mentally, of the challenges that's in front of you, and for you to know what it entails to apply here as a physical therapist to the US. It's not cheap, it's not easy, but it is all worth it once you get here. Okay, so check out my course at chestuprightTherapy.com. I will walk you from start till end on the step-by-step procedure so that you won't, lose money, you won't have delay in your processing. You don't need to keep on spending fee after fee after fee because you just don't know what you're doing. Okay, so for you to be guided well, that's what that course is all about. Okay, please, if you have any questions, comment, or suggestion, what do you think about this video? What do you think I should do for the next video? Just leave comment down below. Share this video. Follow us on our social media platform as well. We have justuprightTherapy.us Facebook page, Instagram, and TikTok. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Until the next video, stay blessed. Don't forget to subscribe.